حياكم الله مرة ثانية دنقنرونبا. نكمل نقول بسم الله. احنا الحين عرفنا ليش كيوكو مو هي اللي تكون ذابحة الساكورا، لأنه شلون كانت قاعدة على الكرسي.
There's no explanation why she was in that chair.
So, you finally noticed.
يعجبني قال finally.
That's just another lie from a bloodthirsty serial killer.
ما أتوقع.
Are you sure you didn't attack her while she was sitting in the chair?
No, I'm sure she's telling the truth. Anyone who saw the murder scene should think the same way.
صح الدم. كان الدم اللي على الأرض.
I got it! Sakura was definitely attacked in front of the shelf. The blood stained by the magazines is proof of that.
Then she must have moved the body after she killed her, right?
لا بقع الدم وينه؟
All to make it look like I did it. Because when I hit her, she was sitting in the chair.
Hey, come on now, look at me. I can't carry anything heavier than my own scissors.
صح.
There's no way I could move a muscle-bound heavyweight like that.
Then what's the deal?
Well, are you still convinced the case has come to an end?
But...
Plus, the biggest mystery of all, the locked room, still has yet to be
صح
explained.
هذه الحين ما فسرناه.
Until we take care of that, we can't say this case has been properly settled.
Oh, that part's easy. After she killed Sakura, Toko just hid in the locker again.
لا.
So she just hid in there till everyone showed up and opened the door?
أنت كنت معي هنا
While everyone
وشلون؟
was all confused and hectic, she just snuck out of the locker into the group.
لا كانت معنا وكانت مقفلة. مقفلة شفناها
I
مفتوحة.
don't think that's possible.
الحين شفناها مفتوحة. ذاك وسوس. I was in the locker. I saw it myself.
Got it! Even before we opened the door to the rec room, Hina and I both got a look inside.
يب. أنا وياه هو شلون
And at
تقول له؟
that point, the locker was already open. So obviously Toko couldn't have been hiding in there.
يب.
Okay then, where was she hiding?
I don't know. What's this whole locked room thing about anyway?
كنا هي ما
How do you
كنا
not
بهي.
know? You killed her!
I think the fact that I don't know proves I didn't kill her. Thank you very much.
صادقة.
You're lying.
No, she's not. I've been saying all along, there's still more to this case.
But if Genocide Jill didn't do it, that means Ogre didn't die from the shot to the head.
And
Well, I can't imagine what else could have killed her.
some
because you're
poison.
overlooking vital information.
Paradise account.
What was it that killed
ما ركمه
Ogre?
فايل أكيد. لأنه هو
Wasn't it from
كتب
Genocide Jill's
vomiting
attack?
blood.
Then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head.
لا.
No, that's wrong. According to the Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood. I think we can assume there's a chance this was related to her cause of death.
مو متوقع هذا
In
أكيد.
fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth.
Well, I mean, maybe when she got hit with the bottles, she cut the inside of her mouth.
ما أتوقع.
That's all it was. The file wouldn't have specified vomited blood.
صح وراء قال طرش الدم. المفروض تطنشه.
Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth.
You even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies.
تقول القاتلة.
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Some
Some
sort of reaction within her body. Most likely,
Poison.
Sakura was poisoned.
Poisoned?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
أكيد ما راح يصير أي أخطاء لأنك أنت اللي قلته.
You're making me go all weak in the knees.
ساتر.
She was poisoned? It isn't possible.
Is it really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was able to poison her.
تكفى.
You can explain it?
Of course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
توحيد اللي تتكلمين.
But you're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
Huh? Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along.
ما اتوقع.
You never would have. You gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Ouch.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a
سبت
big
لك
shelving
بقوة.
unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this.
I found this.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle. But the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find it?
لقينا
The
بA.
shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C. In section A, dietary supplements. In B, reagents. And in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
لا.
That's the question, isn't it?
لقينا احنا بA. لقينا بA.
Got it! The poison was actually in Section A.
Huh? But you just said that Section A was for supplements or whatever.
Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives?
صح شلون؟
Yeah, so? Why?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
بدلوا بإيش؟
What do you mean?
I mean, this.
With this. Uh-oh. ايش قاعد تسوي؟ لقوا شرب السم. Put a powder of poison to his lips.
Master!
صار شرب السم.
Ugh, that tastes awful.
راح تشرب طيب.
No! Master's in real trouble!
اي شرب
You
سم.
have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
اعتقد هذا اخر اهتماماتنا.
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
Huh?
هذا هاي
What are you
كواليتي.
talking about?
I'm
بروتين.
talking about the protein, of course.
Protein?
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
حلو.
This is...
جربت
It's
ذوقته.
protein powder.
ذوقته عفوا.
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein
شلون
powder.
دريت؟
Which makes one wonder, the poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
بعلبة بروتين لقيناها بالمسرح الجريمة. برو تي اي ان با بي احاول بي بروتين بوتل. لا الو بروتين درينك. غلطت اجل. عمل البروتين
Now I
بوتل.
understand. The poison must have been poured into the protein can.
يب.
If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
يب.
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched. So the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can. Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison.
Holy crap!
صح
All they
بس
had to do was
مين اللي
hand her
بدل؟
something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
بروتين درينك.
I got it!
شو الحين اللي تشرب
You're
كبروتين؟
saying they gave her a protein drink, right?
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains. So maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
لأنه الشخص الوحيد اللي
What was
شافها
offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison.
الوحيد اللي يقدر يعطي تشرب شيء على طول بدون ما تهتم يمكن هنا.
And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures.
For real? Who was it?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
يب كانت 3 أقدام.
I got it! The footprints left behind in front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected.
بس واضحة هي مرة، اتوقع احد مساحة ولا شيء.
What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison. The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who...
Who?
It was me.
يب صح علي. كانت هنا.
The footprints. They're mine.
لأن هي الوحيدة اللي تعطي ساكورا مشروب تشربه وتشرب على طول.
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
اوكي تقبل هالشيء.
Ogre's killer was...
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. There was no mistaking it. And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
ماكورو وهنا.
I got it! Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. That explains why you...
عشان شاف رجع يقول له كم مقاس جسمتك.
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that left only one other possibility.
هنا.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial began.
يب ما غير تقول لي يلا خلينا نبدأ
You were in an
نحكم.
awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you? This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
I can't believe it.
لا صدق يا
What
ماكورو.
about it can't you believe?
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way.
عشان وثقت به.
Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction. Hina used that trust to kill her. She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us. I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
شلون ذبحته بهدوء؟
Is it true? Did you really... kill Sakura? Why? Why would you do that?
صح ليه
I
فسري.
found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt. She
Oh,
asked
yeah?
me to bring her that protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden.
فجأة يعني كذا قلت هي خلينا نذبحها واطلع.
Now's my chance to kill
اوه
her.
يعطيك العافية.
That's what you thought, right?
يعطيك العافية بياكويا.
That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poisoned mixture.
And then she downed it all at once. And then
Hold it.
جد.
I'm not convinced.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind.
جرينا ما شاء الله عليك
Words like
علمتنا.
friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them.
تعلمني هذا من شابتر 1.
Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves. Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
لما تقتنع.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism, but there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
الغرفة شلون
Are
قفلتها.
you talking about the locked room problem?
Hina, if you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
صح.
well,
يلا فسرية.
that doesn't matter.
ما تعرف.
Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything.
لا علميني. إيه.
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
إيه.
And if I do?
متأكد.
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint?
صح.
It's too obvious. Too easy.
من اليوم أقول لك واضحة.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
That was... I was just nervous. So had left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
هذا عذر بايخ.
Yeah, that's just how it was.
اوبس
Listen,
كتبتها غلط.
Hina, could you go into a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison and the protein.
How come? That doesn't matter.
لا.
Hina, please. I'd like to know too.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina is the culprit.
ودك تراهن؟
There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it.
يلا انا قاعد 10 ريال هالحين نمي بهنا.
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab.
Well, right away I went to section C and got the poison.
And is that when you spilled the powder in front of that part of the shelf?
Yeah. When I opened the bottle, I dropped it like an idiot.
طيب.
I see. Okay then, go on.
So then I moved to section A and got the protein powder, and that's where I switched them.
لحظة إذا كسرت القزازة عند سي ومشت الأي المفروض في آثار أقدام كذا جاية تنعكس.
Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it and left the room. But I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back on the wrong shelf. And because of that, everything I did got found out. And that's it.
أكيد.
That story you just told. First you went to section C to get the poison. Then moved to section A to get the protein, right?
إيه.
Meaning you went from section C to section A. Do I have that correct?
يلا بياك يا استوعبتها الحين. شفت أثر أقدام
Can
خطأ.
you repeat that series of events one more time?
What's wrong with you, Big Mac? You're
Big
being
Mac?
awfully pushy.
It's the same thing no matter how many times you hear it. How long until you're satisfied?
لما تنقفض أنت قد تصيح. Footprints in the powder كم شيء.
First I went to section C.
حلو هذه صح.
That's when I grabbed the poison.
أوكي.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A. And
ممتاز.
that's where I switched the powders.
هذه تو خطأ.
Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab. That's all there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
لا عرفت الحين.
First I went to that's when I
So
grabbed
scared?
and you spilled some of the yeah.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C.
بوم خطأ.
No, that's wrong. You said you went to get the poison from section C. And that's where you spilled the powder, right?
Yeah? What about it?
And after that, you said you moved from section C to section A to get the protein.
إيه هذه قالته.
But the footprints
خطأ.
left at the scene were not moving from section C to section A.
كنت بس تمشي على A.
That contradicts what you just said.
What?
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose
ما
to
أتوقع.
disguise her movements?
لا.
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said?
So nervous I didn't notice I left. Yep.
What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this?
كيف تجرؤين تكذبين علي وتخليني أطلع أنا الغلطان؟
Well,
You lied to us. Plain and simple.
You lie.
If you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to section A.
Yep.
So you never went to section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved section A.
well, you see...
وشو؟
What the hell? What's going on here?
بدأ يخاف
Aren't the
يتوتر.
only problem with her account.
What?
Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
أوه أدلة جديدة.
New evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Are you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
الابتسامة ذي هي اللي تقول لك واثقة.
I did?
لحظة القارورة قصدك؟
It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
مثل حمار مثلك معصب.
Just say it already. What is it you think you found?
I found this. It had
Zaza?
sunk to the bottom of the bottle, and the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you. So, thank you for that.
But what is it?
Oh, you still don't realize? Well then, Makoto, why don't you explain it?
Huh? Me?
طيب
Fine. If you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard of glass.
طيب القزاز كان القزاز كذا شفاف، مو قزازة الريك روم،
I got it.
يعني مو قزازة ماراكوما ولا قزازة
Part of the window from the rec room door, right?
السم.
The window?
The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that. So I think that must be it.
You're right. It must be. Of course, that leads to another question.
كيف جت
How did a
القزازة؟
shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
What's so strange about that?
كل شيء.
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
section C section
I
A
got it.
section
The
A
bottle
لا.
of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab. That is what you said, right, Hina?
صح حتى هي منصرعة.
And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle.
And everything Hina told us was a lie?
قوة.
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there. That had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Wait, hold on. You're moving too fast.
وراه الصراع لانه واحد حمار مثلك ما يقدر يفهم.
I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked. But how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was unlocked?
القزاز كان
We
تحته.
already know she was given the protein can with a poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
You're right. We do need to explain that. But before we do, there's something I'd like to confirm with everyone here.
Huh?
It has to do with the protein can.
Oh, yeah?
After Sakura's body was discovered, did anyone move it or trip over it or anything like that?
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
جاوب إيه ولا لا؟
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your ability.
Well, no, not that I remember.
Yeah, me either.
Not me.
Same here. Yeah, me either.
Okay then,
Hello?
that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
عشان القزاز.
Come on! How can you say that?
متأكد. من جدك أنت تستهبلين على أمي.
How can you know what I don't know?
لأنك حمار. أنا ما كان بقول لأنك حمار. ما يهمه بياكي نموت، أهم شيء يصير هو الصح.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked,
إيه.
it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible. It had to have been in there the whole time. It had to be. It was in there before the rec room was unlocked.
لا. قلت ابني يا بياكي. أخيرا نقدر نثبت له. 3 شابترات تزبيد وانا
Remember how
اخوك.
there was broken glass scattered all around the room, right?
Of course. It came from the window you broke to get in. What about it?
Well, those pieces weren't just scattered around the protein can. He also found
كان
pieces
تحته.
underneath the can.
What?
هذا الوجه ابغاه، هذا وجه جميل.
And this proves it. It shows that the can must have been put down on the floor after the window was broken. So it had to be after we got into the room.
I see. So that's your explanation.
يلا عندك شيء ثاني تبي تقوله؟
Kyoko, earlier when you asked if anyone had moved the can or tripped over it,
If that were the case, that would explain the can being on top of the glass.
So you asked everyone about it to eliminate that possibility right out of the gate.
بسرعة.
And that's made everything clear, hasn't it? As long as it was a locked room, it only contained the bottle of poison, and not the protein can. But once the room was opened up, they were switched. And as a result, the protein can wound up in the rec room, and the bottle of poison returned to the chem lab.
طيب شلون؟
if that's all true, then why did Sakura drink the poison? I thought we all agreed she was tricked into drinking it because of the protein can.
No, that's not why. The only explanation is she drank it from its original bottle, knowing exactly what it was.
يعني كان
Precisely. She was alone in a locked room. All she had was the poison. What other possibility is
يعني
there?
هي شربته
You're
انتحار؟
saying she drank it knowing what it was? Such a ridiculous fiction is...
Exactly what happened.
Then tell us already. Sorry. Please, tell us.
شعور شبيه.
Before we get to that, we need
بدي-
to clarify one other thing.
الحين عرفت وش تصير عندك اخلاق بياك يلا الله يبارك فيك.
We need to establish who exactly got the poison from the chem lab and took it to the rec room.
It was Hina, right? She took it and gave it to Ogre.
What do you think, Makoto?
The one who got the poison from the chem lab and brought it to the rec room. Sakura.
I got it!
لا ساكورا انا
I
اقول.
think it was Sakura herself.
Huh? So Sakura, who was apparently murdered, just poisoned herself? What are you talking about? There's no way!
On the contrary, we know for a fact she went to the chem lab, right to the section full of poisons.
You're lying! Stop lying! Why? Why would you lie like that?
وراها اكذب انا. يا الله. سوينا موت فشوت عليهم كلهم الا بياكويا بس.
You're a liar! What are you saying?
هنا تكفين. القضية ترى طولت.
I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! Wrong! You're wrong! I hate you!
وانا بعد ما اطيقك.
You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking!
خلاص ما بغينا واوك.
Do you have any kind of proof Sakura took the poison?
يلا باودر.
This should
على
do it.
رجله. بريك.
Hina, did you know that Sakura's foot had a certain yellow powder stuck to it?
It did?
It
ايه.
did. The same yellow powder that had been spilled by the shelf in the chem lab. That powder was yellow, wasn't it? So the powder we found on Sakura. What else could it be but the powder from the chem lab?
Wait. So, what was that powder doing on Ogre's foot?
And it was only on her instep, right?
Sakura must have been standing right there where the powder was spilled.
يعني هي اللي كانت هناك. هي اللي
So the
طايحة
person who spilled
القزازة.
the powder by the shelf wasn't Hina, but Sakura. And when Sakura dropped the bottle, she dropped it away from where she was actually standing, which is how she was able to avoid getting it all over herself.
صح.
But the powder still got scattered around, and some of it must have wound up on her instep. Is there any problem with my thinking?
But why did Sakura pay a visit to Section C in the first place?
تاخذ
The
السم.
only explanation is that she was looking for poison. After all, that's all that section contained.
No! It was me! The poison! Because I killed her!
No,
مصدق
you
انا.
didn't kill her.
الوحيد اللي قادر يقتل ساكورا كانت ساكورا.
Here's my answer. The one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself.
يعني انتحار.
What? The killer was Sakura?
Wait, so you're saying It was suicide?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it any more than I believe I can fly.
I can't believe it either.
يعجبني وجهك تقول I can't believe it.
I don't want to believe it. But when you really think about it, everything matches up. Sakura went and got the poison. She barricaded herself in a room, and she drank it, all so she could end her own life. And that explains why we couldn't solve the mystery of the locked room.
يعني ساكورا انت كريت ذاك روم بياك كريت ذاك مانك
I got it!
الساكورا هي اللي سوت اللوكت
The
روم.
locked room mystery was created by Sakura.
I'm sure she locked herself in so nobody could stop her from doing what she did. She sat there, drank the poison, and breathed her last breath. And the empty bottle of poison rolled around the locked room until we came and opened it. At that point, someone grabbed the bottle and snuck it out of the room. And that was you, wasn't it, Hina?
يب هي اللي اخذت القزازة.
You did it to throw off the investigation, didn't you? When we found her body, you stayed right there near the door. Because you already knew Sakura was dead. And because the bottle of poison had rolled near the doorway.
That's when you picked up the bottle, right? I was
بنت
too
الذين.
shocked to notice anything. And Kyoko was busy checking the body.
And the more I think about it, the more I realize how unusual your actions were.
طلعت وهي ساكتة.
You said you were going to go get everyone else.
بس انها كانت راح
Your
ترجع
real
قزازة.
intention was to go to the chem lab and switch out the containers, wasn't it? Once you were at the chem lab, you headed straight to the section where the protein powder was kept. There, you took the powder and poured it into the bottle of poison you'd grabbed from the rec room. When you left the lab, all you had was the empty protein can. Thinking about it like that, the footprints make perfect sense.
When you were done, you gathered everyone together. And once you were back in the rec room,
هاي بترجعنا.
while everyone
رجعهم.
else was focused on Sakura, you quietly placed the can on the ground.
صح.
Honestly, I should have noticed. You should have been the first one to run up to Sakura's lifeless body. The
صح.
Hina I know never would have left her side in a situation like that.
اوتش.
So, Sakura committed suicide. In order to hide this fact, Hina undertook a series of actions to undermine the investigation. As long as you could disguise the truth, you didn't care if we blamed you for her death. That's why you didn't bother to get rid of such obvious evidence, right? The footprints in the powder and the bottle of poison? Vital pieces of evidence. And yet...
So you're saying Hina consciously deceived us to make it look like she killed Sakura?
وانت الحمار الوحيد اللي صدق.
No! No! No, 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 no! I killed her! I did it!
صوتها مألوف. مو نفس البنت اللي مثلت صوت مورغانا.
That's enough, Hina. It's over.
It's not! Nothing's over!
It is.
خصص
Actually,
سكتي.
no. You're right.
صح ما نقدر ننتهي لازم نوصل أحسن جزء
We have to
بالقضية.
end this properly.
حتى هو يعرف. closing argument. حلو. هي خذتها كان بياكويا. توكا أول وحدة جت تغبت ثم قعدت جاء ياسوهيرو مسك القزازة ضربه كتب اسم توكو ثم طلع توكو طلعت لحظة شوي لا هذه غلط ثم المجلة رجعت هنا ثم قامت جنساي جل سكت القارورة يعجبني شوف حاطين لوغز بس شوف القطعة هنا واضحة شوف حلو ثم قامت صلحت شعرها نظرت السماء كان كنشيرو من فيستيفال نوت ستار حطت أخذت كم السم. غبته معه ثم جت تركت هذه هنا.
The killer is you! This case began when Sakura asked a number of people to meet her in the rec room. Specifically, those people were Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya. But one of them headed out a bit earlier than the others.
توكو.
Toko. She got there one step ahead of everyone else and looked around for a good hiding spot.
لحظة دقيقة وشلون غلط؟ كان العكس. كان هذه هنا وهذه هنا.
Here's exactly what happened.
هذا مرة صدق عاد ارتاحوا.
But
صح عليه.
and she found it. She crawled into the locker to get out of sight. Then, from inside the locker, she saw Sakura enter the room. Next to arrive was Hiro.
الحلاوة خاف ومسك
When he got
القزازة.
there, he mistakenly thought Sakura was going to try to kill him, so he panicked. Without thinking, he grabbed a nearby Monokuma bottle and attacked Sakura with it. Thinking he'd killed her, he hastily began covering up his crime. He took a magazine from the table and forged a dying message from Sakura. To that end, he wrote down a name.
توكو.
Toko. By writing her name, he was hoping to pin the murder on her. But of course, Toko had witnessed the whole thing. So as soon as the coast was clear,
طلعت وشافت اسمه.
she jumped out of the locker and hid the magazine on the shelf with all the others. But in her rush, she made one little mistake. She put the magazine back upside down.
متدبشة.
Soon after, she watched as Sakura slowly opened her eyes. She also saw the blood dripping off Sakura's head and fainted.
ثم جت
This
جينيسايد
caused
جيل.
her personality to switch back over to Genocide Jack. When she woke back up, her second personality also saw the blood-soaked Sakura, and she freaked out. And just like Hiro, she grabbed another Monokuma bottle and attacked her.
مسكينة.
This explains why there were 2 wounds on Sakura's head. Assuming Sakura really was dead this time, she set about disposing of the evidence. She gathered up the broken Monokuma bottle shards
قعد.
and the queen chess piece. And that explains how Sakura was attacked twice with the same type of weapon. But even after those 2 blows, she was still alive. So then, what was Sakura's actual cause of death?
السم.
It was the poison that Sakura herself got from the chem lab. She turned the rec room into a true locked room scenario, and then drank the deadly mixture. And there, she took her final breath. Later on, the rest of us discovered that her body was in there. We had to smash the door's window to get inside. But someone already knew what had happened.
هنا.
Knew that she had committed suicide. And that same someone quietly snatched the bottle of poison from off the ground. And while nobody was looking, replaced it with an empty protein can. They did all this specifically to place all the suspicion on themselves, in an attempt to guide the trial to a false conclusion. And the one who went to all that effort?
هنا. شو الرزة دي؟
You, Hina.
ايش اللقطة دي؟ تحس كأنه هو قال لا انا بطالع معك يا طاس يا أخي.
That's the full truth of the case. Sakura, took her own life, and you claim to be the killer to hide that fact. Isn't that right?
يا بنت الذين.
That's what happened?
إيه.
But Makoto, how were you able to uncover the truth that even I couldn't discern?
لأنك أنت حمار.
Huh? Oh, well, I mean...
You still haven't realized? We don't all act according to calculations and cost-benefit diagrams. That's what makes us so complicated. That's what you don't understand. And that's why you couldn't solve this case.
ولأنك حمار.
See? Didn't I tell you? When you dismiss other people's feelings, it'll always come back to bite you in the end.
الصراحة الفوز هي مو بسالفة ان ساكورا ماتت، لا الزين بياكويا مات، ان بياكويا مات عفوا بياكويا تزبد بوجهه. 97.
Okay. I think we can all agree you made your point. Did you guys forget already? You still haven't voted yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You seriously forgot?
So
I can feel my energy draining out of me. Well, whatever. You don't really have a choice anyway. You just gotta do it. Maybe you don't want to, but please grab your lever and cast your vote. So, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will
سأل
you
مين؟
make the right choice?
حلو زعلان.
Dreadfully wrong one.
حتى اخ.
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
حتى هو منقر زعلان. درينك درينك. هذا قضية.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. ما كان ساكر هو ساكر. حتى زعلان.
Entire existence.
اوكي we're done. باي.
What did you say?
يب ما في شيء ثاني.
Come on.
كبر هابن صح. ليش انت غطيتي وخليتني تبي
What are you
نموت؟
thinking?
Don't be mean.
What is this?
ليه؟ It's exactly what I wanted. Huh? Then Sakura died. It's because he pushed her into a corner. احنا كلنا ذبحناه.
You should have been the one to die. What?
شلون ما فهمنا؟ Gonna take us all with you? Don't for a sin because everyone, even me, we all killed her. شلون؟
What is this?
Did I just how much despair Sakura was carrying? Shattered. Such brutality has made me desperate. So instead of just waiting to be killed, I do it with my own hand. أكيد إن هي اللي كاتبتها. توقعت ساكورا تبدأ تكتب، مو ساكورا إلا ساكورا. ساكورا تكتب تقول في ضوء في يوم لا تضيء فيه الشمس قررت أن تحشد كذا كلام بايخ. Just Jack attacked me. Sakura got mad and stormed out of the nurse's office. This stuff. Now you're suffering because of me.
No forgiveness! I can't forgive this!
Going to kill each other. That's alright. This is all my responsibility. Let's meet those three. ليه؟ تبي تتكلم معهم. طب ليش انت ما رحتي معه؟
هنا.
كلموا هينا مثلا كانت موجودة كان متوقع الوضع بيصير أحسن.
They're friends.
على قلب قالك من قلبه من ذهب ساكورا. كل واحد ضربه بقزازة.
What are you saying?
ما أتوقع. اتوقع صدقتنا كلنا.